Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, just checking audio. Real Talk Files. Testing 1, 2, 3 on the audio. Real Talk Files. Give me a minute, testing audio.
Thank you too, Ray. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, thank you. But I have to always put it to everybody. And I got to thank them. You understand me?
Testing 1, 2, 3, testing.
I'm talking about for the weekends. Yeah, I know. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Audio testing good. We ready to go. We on live. We've been on live for a few seconds while we're doing audio testing. 3, 2, 1.
I want to thank everybody. As everybody knows, first of all, it's the Real Talk Files, and we're just so grateful to everybody that does everything for us. Thank every one of you guys. I thank and we got a birthday shout out. Today is Dorley Como. Today is her birthday, so I'll be remiss not to say something, but say happy birthday because she said it for me on mine. Thank you. Happy birthday, Dorley. And you still Dorley. Real talk. But anyway, happy birthday. Thank all my people that's really with me for me. We had a little late start because, hey, my fault. My fault. Y'all know I've been telling you guys since Friday I had a guest. This guest showed up, said he's gonna be here, and he can't. He gonna be on. If I ask him. So I got a guest today that's also very important, and I thank him so much for not only being my guest, for being my friend. I thank all you guys, man, that really support the Real Talk Files. I mean, y'all truly do. We're gonna have another live remote coming in next Saturday, but we're gonna say that at the end of the program. But I thank all my supporters. I thank Rosalind Queen, come through all the time, like clockwork. I thank Eddie Brown, come through always like clockwork. I'm just saying he's also a gentleman and a friend. David Jones, every time needed, he there for me. So I got to thank him, very, very much. Sometimes you notice that he is the voice of our pre-programs, recordings for our commercials. David, our commercials, that's going to be you, yes, the commercial man, because you have to give us some commercials sometimes. But anyway, I thank him so much. I thank Dorley's in Houston, guys, but I have to thank her. And the reason why I have to thank her is because she's a supporter too. Talk noise to me all the time. That's my friend. She can do that. But I thank all you guys. Truly, I do. And with that being said, my guest today, I really don't need the introduction, because you know what he does? He does stuff for the city of Port Arthur, and he will speak on it. He's been on all our TV channels talking for Port Arthur. And if they come to him and ask him something, he's going to give his opinion. If you like it or not, sometimes the other people on one side don't like what he says. And they say, well, he told the truth. Now, he's not going to stop now. He going to tell you the truth. And and all the council people on our city council, he gonna say something. If they don't do something, he gonna say about them too. So don't think nobody gets by it. But if you do something right, he'll tell you too. But if you don't, Channel 6, Channel 4, that used to be Channel 4, y'all. What's the number now?
Yeah, same thing. Channel 4, 2,
4,
I think
2,
4 and 6. Yeah, 4 and 6.
Yeah, 4, 6, and 12. But now you got Fox. Okay. They always seeking him out. That's why I sought him out. They're always seeking him out to come to interview and say something to them. Well, this is the Real Talk Files. What we do on the Real Talk Files, everything that come across us is going to be real talk. That's how we do it. That's what we feel. If you're gonna be on here, we want real talk. We don't want you to come here to sugarcoating things or putting your spin on it. All we want you to do is real talk. Well, this person who's gonna be on now, he's gonna. It's real talk. We're at his home, man, and he made it comfortable for us to come here appreciate him too. I just appreciate it. Me and David go all over. We done did our program for right out in the public, right, David?
Yes, sir.
We did it outside. You know, we did it at David House, we done it at Mile. You see what I'm saying? We go out. He opened up his arms and y'all come in a few minutes at my house. But I'm finna turn it over to him, David. What you say?
Yes, sir, absolutely. And just like Lynn Freeman said, we don't need no introduction, but we're going to give an introduction. Right here, this is the Honorable Reginald Trainer. And Mr. Trainer, could you please give us a rundown if somebody's been living under a rock, don't know who you are and what you've been doing for the city of Port Arthur?
Okay, first of all, I want to thank the Real Talk, thank Mr. Lynn, thank you, David, for just inviting me to come aboard. I really appreciate it. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's get to the meat. I've already been introduced. I really don't need no applause or nothing like that. I am legally, since we're dealing with Black Lives Matter, I am the chairperson for the Port Arthur Police Department, okay, the Chief Advisory Board. So, of course, I've been asked a lot of questions. What are the police planning on doing during this time of the pandemic, the time of the corona, the time of all this killing that we've been having going on, not in Port Arthur, but around in Port Arthur. But Port Arthur is not exempt. I want everybody to know Port Arthur is not exempt.
Now, hold on for a second before you go there. Let me go ahead and set the framework for everybody. If you didn't know, we're going to be talking a little about the Black Lives Matter. We're going to be talking about the police uprising. We're going to be talking about different things that's going on with the news and pretty much particularly what does this mean for Port Arthur, Texas. So I just want to give everybody the introduction what we're going to be going on before you start the conversation. My bad. Go ahead on, Mr. Reg. Go on with your opening statement, brother.
Okay, then getting back to let's just start off with Black Lives Matter. A lot of them, I have a lot of white friends and they understand that. They want to know why all lives don't matter. All lives do matter. But right now we're talking about the Black Lives Matter. And the reason why we're talking about the Black Lives Matter, because it seems like every other race have forgotten the black race.
Okay, now you put up a pretty good point right there. You said when you talk to a lot of your white friends or non-black friends, they seem to say, well, Reg, why you say Black Lives Matter? I mean, well, all lives matter, don't it? Whenever somebody tells you that, what do you think about it? Do you think the person just really don't know what Black Lives Matter versus all lives matter, or you think some of them may have a little bit of prejudice in them?
I think when a person outside my race asks me that, the true answer that I always come up with is either they're ignorant to the fact or they don't know about the struggle. You understand? In this day and time, 2020, they even don't teach history in school about Black America, but only 1 month. Right. Every day is Black History Day. Because I have a son. You understand me? I have a brother. And then just me. I'll be scared to go out there, you know, and don't know if I'm going to get stopped or whatever. But I'm on this board to make sure that that doesn't happen in the city of Port Arthur, and we'll deliberate on what have happened in Port Arthur. But I just want to get that clear when people ask me about, well, Trainer, all Black Lives Matter, yes, but you are selfish because you only want to talk about your race. Right now, we have to talk about our race. And I have to compliment my young people. My young people is really moving. And I'm not just talking about the blacks, I'm talking about the whites, all of them. And we need to get behind them. We need to be able to structure and teach them how to go forward. Somebody taught us. We got complacent. We got to the point, well, I made a few more dollars than you. You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't work like that. We all in this shit together.
I agree with you on that.
Now with this riots or uprising protests, do you think this? To me, it seems like it's a little bit different than the Rodney King. It's different than some of the other ones. From what I've noticed there's a lot more cooperation with a lot of white folks joining into it, and particularly a lot of white folks doing most of the rioting. If I've seen, what are your thoughts on the uniqueness of this riot versus the other riots, if you believe it's different?
Love it. And let me tell you why. You're looking at young people. You know what I'm saying? Young people got black friends. They growing up together. They're growing up together. Some of them are getting apartments together. They sleeping together. They don't see that prejudice that my daddy had. You understand me? Or that we had. Yeah, we're still angry. But these young folks say, hey, you're not going to treat my friend like that because he's black. They don't look at the color like that.
I agree with you.
And let me put it biblical for you. God is trying to tell us something. If you look at what's going on now and you can't get behind these children, then you ought to be comfortable where you're at. You really ought to be comfortable where you're at, because a closed mouth won't get fed. Now, we're not asking for violence, but the way they are going to it in a peaceful protest, we all need to get behind it.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
My question is this, Dave. I'm trying to figure out is if we're gonna have a referendum that's coming up, somebody's gonna have a referendum on peace. Why do we have to have a referendum on peace and we still live in? And I'm sure you as being on the police commission board, how you gonna ask the people that's doing the violence against our people to now tell you it's not cool to do it, and they taught it, and we done seen it all over the internet. Some of the police officers tell you that they said they go to our neighborhood to make arrests. So now, how are you going to reverse that? Excuse me, not you. How are they going to, and how are you going to bring that particular thing up to your commission or your board?
Okay, let me go ahead and make sure I got the question straight. You're saying that
correct that information.
You're saying that you want to, how to get to what, Port Arthur Police Department?
Yes.
Bring up a referendum
to correct that imperfection.
To correct what's going on with the department, I should say?
Institutionalized policy. See, that's institutionalized policy.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And then how are we going to now go to that particular people and correct that information?
Okay. Basically, let me get this straight. I just want to rephrase the question for the audience and everything. Basically, you're asking what does Port Arthur going to do to kind of change its policies to better serve the people and to not be able to fall in a trap like this. Is that kind of what I'm understanding what you're saying?
You might be, and they might be. I'm hoping it's a little different though. But this is why I say it's a little different. My thing is this, and he's on
police commission.
Okay, now the board that he's on, I'm asking him to tell me how is he going to present those to the board, what I just said. How are you going to present it? And these people have an institutional thing. The Port Arthur Police Department. Look, I haven't been stopped in a long time. Let me make sure I understand that, because I'm old now. But I haven't been stopped in years.
Well,
but that's what I'm saying.
I thought about all that ahead of time because I feel as though the question was going to be asked. And me and some of my board members like Langston Adams and Puget, we've already had dialogue on that while to come and bring it in front of the chief. Because first of all, we are only an advisory board.
Right, okay.
See, and we just give advice. But we are trying to get the advisory board to play a little deeper. And what I'm talking about, play a little deeper, because I don't feel police could police themselves. I believe that citizens need to have a part in that, because guess what? They work for the citizens. So what I'm trying to get them to do is, I wrote a few things down. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk to them about our response to our resistance. You know, I'm talking about when I say our response. What happened if a person got a mental problem? You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
And you goes to arrest him and he's not incoherent. Is you gonna beat him up, shoot him, and kill him, or are you gonna have special training? We also talked about the use of deadly force, which we see very often right now.
Right.
We want to get with the chief, and then we want to talk about the prohibit techniques that they use, the no knock warrants, and their duty to intercede crime. There's some things that this board is really working on that we're going to come to the table and do. Now, one thing, I don't want to brag about Port Arthur, but I could kind of brag about our officers. As the chairperson, I'm able to make shift meetings. As the chairperson, I'm able to do ride-alongs. And in that process, I'm able to talk to the officers on a one-on-one basis. When I was coming up, we all know Port Arthur, I was a bad little boy. I never thought I couldn't stand the police. I'd be truthfully honest with you, take right up top.
No, you was a bad boy? No.
I was a bad boy. Yes, I was. But I listened to hearsay.
Yeah.
We do have some good officers. I'm gonna tell you one that I'm gonna be off of which, and I'm gonna put it on record. We got our Deputy Chief Houston. Go to him anytime. Officer Perkins, go to him anytime. Then we used to have Owens. I could go to Owens anytime. He's a white officer. A lot of people talked about Blinch. Oh, they talked about Blinch so bad.
Right.
But when I got to know Blinch, it was nothing like that. You see what I'm saying?
Did you feel that he was only like that because he was with you and you was on the commission?
No. Because I put him to the test. You guys know me. I put him to different scenarios. Because I personally brought it up in a meeting in front of everybody because I'm not a backstabber. And I told him what was out on the streets. So he had to prove himself, which he did. But we got some black officers dirtier than these white officers. You better be careful. You'll sit back and you'll say, oh, there's a brother coming. It almost take your life.
Right.
You understand me? So we got to be careful with it. Now, we got a police chief, all right? When he got in here, we had a crime. You understand me? And we'll deliberate that and let down. We had a crime. Work hard. He's acceptable to anybody. I believe that. We got a whole black council. Whole black council. We got a black mayor. Man, we are blessed. But guess what? Guess what? Color means nothing if you're doing nothing. You understand me?
Absolutely.
Color means nothing if you're doing nothing. We should be above what we are. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. We should be above.
Okay, so let me go ahead and kind of get this straight on that, recap that last statement. So you're saying Port Arthur with the black police chief, black mayor, black council, that there should be the people on council, please, they should be serving the community, especially black folks, better than they're actually serving them now. That's what you're kind of saying, or is that kind of?
Yes and no.
Right,
yes and no. Let me clarify that.
Right.
They do some good things, and they do some none things. When they became council, it's not just because they are black folks. They became council for the city and the citizens of Port Arthur.
Right.
That's all of what I'm saying is that if you look at how it's governed, you would think that we as African Americans, because it's still Black Lives Matter, would be in better situations.
Right.
But we got some there like crabs in a basket.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We can't go up if they said to put somebody pulling us down. We got to work together as an overall.
I got a question on you though. I got a question for you when you said that. Reg, this is my question. My question is this. Some of the officers, and you just made that statement about some of the black officers. Are they pressured, just like the guys that was in that interview on CNN the other day? They said that the chief, the higher ups, sent them into the neighborhood to make arrests, and that was a part of their job description. Well, is this a part of those people keeping their job?
Well, to answer that, because I've talked to the chief about a few things like that, that is incorrect. But you go back and you say, well, I remember a time when Antoine was giving tickets. Was that in the plan?
That's what I'm asking.
You see what I'm talking about?
That's what I'm asking.
So I don't write the books. They have a what you call it, David, a union. All right?
Police union.
A police union. When they raise their right hand and they swear to protect and serve, that's whether they're in Atlanta or Port Arthur. You understand me? This is the government that we're going to govern them by. So one thing about it, your children, you know, your children, you might have 4 or 5 children. It's going to be one of those kids in that bunch you're going to have a problem with.
Well, that's like.
So when we look at our police department, they only can go by what they are told to do, and you're right.
Okay.
But I can't believe that they'll tell you, well, yes, I can believe it because being a black man, being in Port Arthur, I do believe, that they have 7 pressure points that they do. Go to the black neighborhood and give me some arrests. I believe that. Just because I'm on the board, I believe that.
Yeah, I believe that
but
too.
I'm praying that since we have a new chief, you understand me? And his new deputies that we can iron it out. Look, slavery been 400. You see what I'm talking about?
401 years.
400 years. Okay, but guess what? We're still, all they did was remove the chains.
I
You
agree
understand
with
me?
that.
These
I
people
agree
that
with
you
that.
got as your police officers, your mayors, your governor,
You,
that's Ku Klux Klan.
yes.
That's just
Yeah.
Ku Klux Klan. Let's just put it like that.
Right.
That's why they're having the problems, because you got a president of the United States that's trying to divide the country through war. If you looked at him when he got in, well, y'all can rub me out if you want. I got the army. I got the police department. I got the senators, you understand me? That's why he's not worried about that. We need to get together, not just us and our young people, all the ones that's talking about they don't vote because it ain't gonna make a difference. Well, I tell you what, let me look at that board. If you don't vote this time, and they step on your neck, you might as well let them cut off your head.
Okay, that's a great point right there.
That's great.
Hold that one. I want to come back to voting as far as if this can change anything right here, because I want to give you some pushback on that. But before I do that, I want to go over here and say, this is me coming. This is Super Dave talking right here. When it comes to black council members, black mayors, black police chiefs, I'm always a firm believer, never just go off a person by his color, right? Because especially with black folks, that's the easiest way they use to manipulate black folks. That's what they use to get rid of Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Black folks were able to infiltrate those organizations and then go ahead and turn on and end up killing Martin Luther King and also Malcolm X. And they couldn't have done it without any kind of black insurgents on there. So I just want to say, I never trust a person by their color. I always try to go off by their actions. And I ask, that's what black, especially elected politicians, because that's like the oldest trick in the book, getting black folk to be the shield of white supremacy. That's always been a trick. I mean, they've used it for back since doing slavery, and they continue to use that now. Now, this is what I'm saying back. After saying that, I want to go to voting and what does this mean?
No.
Go ahead.
Let's stay at that point.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead. No problem. Go ahead. No problem. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
First of all, what you had told me about the color this, the color that. Okay. At one time, the city of Port Arthur was all white.
Right. Absolutely.
We couldn't even cross Houston Avenue. We've made progress, but we haven't got to where we at.
Right.
I could say that it was better when they was there, because look at the streets and look at that. But I see that they're paving the way for my children, my grandchildren.
Right.
I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at, before you vote, you should investigate the candidate.
Right. Absolutely.
You see what I'm talking about?
I agree with that.
Don't go by because that's my church member.
Right.
Don't go by because that's what trainers say. Have your own mind and do your own opinion.
Right.
I'm glad and proud that we got an all black.
Right. Right.
I stand with my chest out. But there are some things that they're lacking in.
Right.
That's why when we go to these council meetings, we're able to voice our opinion. Majority of them listen. They can't get it together all at one time, but if we keep, I ain't gonna put the foot on the neck, but if we keep the pedal to the metal, I think we can get something done.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I say that to say a lot of times we see these black politicians are controlled by white ran PACs or political action committees. Now, if you have to be under a rock if you didn't know that Carl Parker had a strong, I'm gonna say, the foot on their neck of a lot of these black Negro politicians, and
I agree with that.
and he also still do, and that's why that they have the reputation that marrying black folks get in the office and they just mess everything up. But you have to understand the politics. Most of the time, those black politicians are following off of a white master. And I'm saying that. Reginald Trainer not saying that. Lyndon Freeman not saying that. Super Dave saying that.
I'm going to address that if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead on, brother. Go ahead on. This is real talk.
I've ran for city council.
Right.
I didn't have the money that the Parkers got. And I say all the time, excuse my language, people, they are darn fool not to put me in because they know I was going to fight for them.
Right.
But even if somebody like say you give me money for my campaign, you say, well, I ain't doing for Parker because I ain't doing this and I ain't doing. They ain't gonna tell me what to do. Let me tell you something. For every dollar a person give you, it's a favor.
Right.
I don't care who it is, if it's this pack or that pack. Everybody gonna want something. It could be small or it could be large. It's in your heart what you want to do. They can give me $1 million and I accept it, but guess what? I'm gonna do what I think is right for the people. Money is not really the evil of all. It's the person behind the money.
Right.
I agree with that.
You see what I'm talking about?
I agree
So
with you.
when we dictate that white put the black in there for this and this, white folk been using Negroes all their life.
Right.
And we've been accepting it because who you think taught us?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Who you think taught us?
Absolutely.
You know, so we don't want to sing out our people. I'm proud that we got our people, but we got some no good ones. And like you say, Mr. Lynn, all the time, we gonna have to vote them out.
And I'm finna say it again.
Right.
That's what look, David. That
Yes,
is what he said something. You know how I talk. But he said something to start off, and I know you heard me say this a lot.
Come on.
We cannot let the churches pick our leaders.
Right. Can't let the churches pick our leaders, nor the packs pick our
All
leaders.
the packs. See, I'm just saying. If you go and vote for me because I was my pastor had invited you to the church, or his wife, his husband, her husband is a pastor.
Play the fool.
That's not picking leaders.
Right.
See, all doing this here, like he was saying, and he made a good point right there.
Yeah.
If a pack give them money, you best believe that pack is thinking is feeling that he's supposed to he don't get something in return, and that's just the way it is. Go ahead, Ray.
But Leah, politics is big money all over the world. You could run and do anything you want to do, but it's gonna involve money. I ran 2 times. I did good. But my family come first. So like I tell my friend John Beard all the time, you can't save a dying world. If a man don't want to be saved, you can't save it. All you could do is make a suggestion. But I see the movement with the Black Lives Matter. I feel in my spirit that there's going to be some changes because we got the young people involved. That's why it started. See, us old folks, we for wisdom. Them young folks, they for war.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
now you
Absolutely.
got all the athletes talking about not playing. You got this. This is a big thing coming. And it ain't just because they killed George Floyd.
Right.
Because
No.
they killed Taylor before. The matter of fact, I was looking at the news that just grabbed 2 13-year-old kids, put them in handcuffs and body slam. That got to stop. That has to stop because let me tell you something. We love our children just like you love yours. And if I'm gonna let somebody misuse my children in front of me, we'll sit back. I seen an old lady, 90 years old.
Right.
They was trying to arrest her grandson. She threw her body. They beat her
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And you
I
mean
seen
to tell
that.
me them brothers and sisters stood there? I'd have died that day.
Now
I'd have died that day.
that comes up to an important topic. I kind of like to dabble on with it. Now, it's my personal opinion that I believe that we all should have something that we're willing to die for, regardless if it's abuse by a crooked cop, a racist cop, or a thug on the streets. Now, you proposed a quick solution. Like if that was somebody close to you, or rid of like Maud, if young Maud was getting beat up by a cop, and he said, "Paul, help me, Paul, I didn't do nothing, Paul." How would you think you would handle that one?
I'm coming to his aid because guess what? Like Malcolm said a long time ago, even George Bush tried to take it. I'm going to defend mine by all means necessary.
Yeah. Okay.
You seen that guy Brooks last night was running from him with the taser,
Right.
and they shot him in the back. Well, he should have went down. He was trying to handcuff. He just seen George Floyd handcuffed.
Right. Yeah.
And they killed him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We got to sit back and grasp, what's going on.
And absolutely, I just want to reiterate that again. Now, it's my opinion that the only way to stop violence is with violence. Now Now, I'm not advocating to do anything wrong, but I'm just only talking about, you know, your constitutional rights, Second Amendment rights against a tyrannical government. And if a crooked police officer is abusing you or physically oppressing you, that's actually tyranny, you know, in my opinion. That's tyranny. So you do have the right to defend yourself up and including deadly force. That's just, you know, my opinion on there. And like just how you said, if something happened with Maud, if something happened to my wife would be getting whipped up by the cops, and you know, she'd be crying, Dave, help, you know. I'd lose it. I'd black out on that day. I'd be like John Wick, you know. Hey, just
but
what I'm saying.
This is what's happening now. I know a little bit. This is what's happening now. And I don't agree with that point. You got to be violence with violence. I really don't, because I know how we got this far. If we was to be violence with Martin Luther King said, if we was to be violence with violence, we wouldn't even be here, because half of us would be dead. Everybody got them take. They probably got more ammunition than you. You understand me? You understand me? So we don't never want to get to a situation where as though we're going to consider violence with violence, because we don't have the guns. But guess what's happening now? We got the story. We got the story. Everywhere you go, whatever you do, like your mom used to say, whatever you do in the dark come to life, they snap it.
No, okay.
Thank God. This is our violence.
Right.
This is how we're gonna get back at them.
I'm gonna go ahead and push back on that. But first, Lynn, you got a question?
No, I got something I wanted to add to.
Yeah, go ahead.
What you were saying. Well, what I'm adding to what I want to add to it was this, Reg, that I feel this way, and I might be Make America Great is just as big as Black Lives Matter. I mean,
what you mean, Make America Great?
Because that was a movement. And I don't care who disagree with that, but that was a movement. It was a movement that, guess what? It elected the president. That's what he ran on. We're going to make America great again.
Again, but when it was great though.
But that was his slogan. His campaign slogan. That was his campaign slogan.
I know that.
And we ride down the highway. Why you got bumper stickers that say "Make America Great Again" one more time? That's what's on the bumper sticker. That's a movement just like Black Lives Matter.
And it is.
See,
it is.
But the only thing about that movement, say what you want, they have the money to finance. Because they money up front have a hell of a lot more money than something that, like, when you have a Democratic fundraiser. I'm talking about the presidential fundraiser.
They're making the money.
Because the Republicans don't give.
They print the money.
Big money.
You know.
They gave all that big money for a tax, for what you call it, a tax. They amended the tax reform. Well, who benefited from that? Big business.
Big business. But they ought to be concentrating on how to pay China back, because China owns us.
Yeah, China owns us.
You see what I'm saying? But they got a print machine.
Yeah.
They got a print machine. They can make all the money. We ain't nothing but monopoly money.
Yeah, the fiat money, not the back thing.
Dave, I'm sorry.
Right, it's no problem. That's what we're here for, the real talk, giving the real talk on the Real Talk Files.
And that's what we do.
Now, I want to go ahead and give you a pushback on the violence issue, right? Now, the reason why I say violence probably is the only issue when we're dealing with warfare, and I believe there's a warfare against black men out here, is because that's what this country was founded upon. This country was founded upon violence and rioting and revolution, right? And not only that, I mean, just like when you seen those white patriots, those white militia groups, white patriots, when the Michigan, no, not Charlottesville. Well, I wouldn't call them patriots. I call those racists over there, the tiki torches. Now, I would say when these white quote unquote patriots that was at Michigan was told to stay in the doggone house, they said, forget that. I'm going to the Michigan state capitol with their guns. They did a little gun. Hey, look, I'm out here. Look, I'm free. You're not going to infringe upon my rights, infringe upon my freedoms. Now, when you talk to most of those gun groups, they're always quoting the Constitution, and that's one thing I believe the black folks need to do more like white folks. We need to be more rebellious, and we need to be more fighting for our freedom. And since nobody else has been oppressed like black folk, and I believe that's one thing we have to do. Yes, we may not have the guns, we may not have the ammunition, the technology, but when I say that, I always go to the Vietnam War. You know, the Vietnamese, they didn't have those the high tech weaponry,
but the new jungle.
the high tech weaponry that the military had, the U.S. had. What they did is guerrilla warfare. That was a tactic they used, and that's a tactic used by people that's undermanned, you know, that underpowered. It's about the underdog, use what they got. And so I always look at those. And they have a whole bunch of other combat skirmishes, situations, revolutions that I can't just call off the top of my head. And that's what, you know, I would say, even though it's not our man, I say you still have to fight for one point that either you can win, you know, you never know when you're going to lose. And also, once you put in a domestic terrorist mind that you're willing to die for your freedom, that kind of changes the outlook on a bully if they try to mess with you or not. You know what I'm saying? Once you put that
and that's
in
a
their
good
thing,
point.
what? Go
That's
ahead.
a good point. That's a good point. Exactly, that's a good point. I do believe this march, people are willing to die. I do.
Right.
But I'm saying violence is not the cause, because we're going to lose too many people behind it. We got to have a better head. You better know, if you hit mine, I'm going to hit yours. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
If you take mine, I'm going to take yours. That's fine. But we don't want to preach violence, because we got through here through love. Even though it was slavery time, you seen that lady in the background? She gave that little girl each piece of pie, taught her how to read. There's some good people, white or black, you know what I'm talking about? But we just can't stand and say violence for violence. I don't go by there, because I know I have a Lord and Savior. You know what I'm saying? I believe in God. You know what I'm talking about? I don't really believe in violence, but I will stand up. I don't believe in hit me and turn the other cheek. That ain't happening. I ain't got there yet. You see what I'm talking about? Where I'm at right now is to try to keep these young kids calm. I don't want them to hear me talk about violence, because I want them to get it done the way they're doing it. You see what I'm saying? That's just me.
This is what I was going to say too, because we brought up Michigan and those people that went to the Capitol with their guns. Well, it's a different thing. Somebody might disagree with me. I have a big, I have an audience, and somebody in the audience may disagree with me. But every one of them people that went up there with their guns and showing their guns was not of my persuasion. Or wasn't of the darker persuasion. They had a few up there, but they didn't have no few that was showing up. Them people had guns.
And if we'd have went up there, what would have happened?
Shit. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going with on that.
So don't fall for their trap.
It's a big difference. There's a big difference from them going up there with their guns and talking about the Constitution. They know it. We know it. But there's certain things in that Constitution that me and you gonna do, and what they do every day.
But the Constitution wouldn't wrote for the black man.
Right.
It sure wasn't if you wasn't but a percentage
Black
of
man
a
was out there in
man.
the field.
Yeah, but we wasn't but a percentage of a man. And Cory Booker and them never talked about that. Man in the audience, look here, and he was running for office. He was running for the biggest office in the land. Dude in the office asked Cory Booker, black dude, about reparations. We didn't see Cory the next week. I mean, that's just real talk.
Yeah.
He asked him a legitimate question. Right. You in the Senate, and you have never passed it. You ain't even brought a bill to the table.
Right.
And they tell you to get over it. But I would tell you the same thing. If I got free labor for 400 years, no wonder America is the richest country in the world. But it ain't rich because it's in debt.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? You had 400 years of free labor. Yeah, we need some repercussions. My ancestors are gone. Yeah, but guess what? You go out and you bless them Indians. Yeah.
Right.
You don't talk about it?
Every month.
Every time we come to this, and we can talk about this, every time we come to this, they get threatened. They get threatened.
So I told you.
Okay, and I want to jump back to a statement you said, right? You said that you don't believe in violence, that you believe you have a creator. Now I just want to ask you, do you believe the creator, whoever that may be for anybody, God, Jesus, I'm pretty sure with you, with your religious faith, do you believe that God want to intervene in this right here? I just want to clarify your statement right quick.
when you ask that question, I go back to the book of Revelations. All right? God is not pleased. See, what God did at first, he sent a virus.
Okay.
Evidently, the virus didn't get your attention. He shut down the country. Evidently, they didn't get your attention. He needs a spark to wake you up, to let you know that, hey, he's still alive and well. He's saying Black Lives Matter. And every day you cut on the TV, you see a black brother getting killed. You say, well, if there's a God, why he allowing all that to happen? You understand me?
Right.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just, no, go ahead. You finish it up. No, I don't have a question.
So, when you say that there's a Savior, see, let me tell you something about me. I knew it wasn't that alarm clock that woke me up this morning. You know, I know there's a God because I feel him in me. I feel him in me. I used to be a rowdy type of Lynn, you know. I used to be a rowdy type of Lynn. Had I not seek the Lord, Lord, I don't know where I'll be. I don't try to convict you with God, because David really belonged to my church. You see, but what I do is I want you to see life through me. See life through me. If you see life through me, if I'm leading the way, that's why my grandson, you see him, he's always manageable and everything. Because I'm his Michael Jordan. You understand me?
I agree
And
with
that's
you on
why
that.
it starts at home.
I agree with you.
You know, I don't look at violence, but look, I'm a type of person, I'm gonna protect mine. But it's not I'm going out to seek violence for violence. You know, somebody got to have the big head. Somebody got to be the bigger man.
I see.
Yes, I believe in God, and to me, there's a God. I tell you what, you see how hot it is outside? I don't want to have to get to hell to find out. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm gonna be me. Go ahead, Super Dave.
Oh, okay. That's
Let's move to the next.
okay. Yeah. The next question I wanna ask, right? From with the uniqueness of this protest and the large amount of white participation in this thing, a lot of people say it's a lot of politics. A lot of the people would say it's Antifa. Now, it's a confirmed fact that there are videos out there of white folks going into black neighborhoods, riding, defacing cars, and tagging Black Lives Matter on them. White folks are doing that. And also you have in some videos that black folks are telling white folks, hey man, don't do that in my neighborhood. Don't do that over here. Hey, we don't want this going on. What do you think? Do you think there's some politics and there's an ulterior motive that black folks are being used for a different type of reason with this with this protest? If it's political, if you believe it is or you don't believe it is.
Of course. We can sit here right now and brainstorm and say it's not happening. The first day it happened, we had a peaceful march. Yes, they got prongs, you call them prongs, that they put in the exercise. They had a cop was doing some stuff and they questioned, he took off. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the reason why I preach that we don't need to be violent, because really, black folks ain't never been violent. To be truthfully honest with you, they go by what they see. But when you get tired, you can kick a dog. But one day he gonna get tired of you kicking him.
And we ain't got no guns.
You know, you get tired of him.
We didn't have the guns though.
But
man.
yes, David, to answer your question, of course I did. Of course. Now you say, well, how you mean that out? You can't, because you don't know everybody in that crowd.
Right.
All you got to do is make sure that you're on the right trail. You know what I'm talking about? But they do that so they can justify killing some more of us. You see what I'm talking about?
Right.
Oh, I seen him when he threw that. Trump made a statement. Loot, shoot. Until he realized that there was his on the front row. He ain't said that no more. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, right.
When he looked and seen it was his own, he peeled back. Because when they had the Klan and this and that was fighting, he said there's good people on both sides. Come on now. Come on.
Now,
where you do that at?
Now, I actually seen a statement from a tweet from Trump. I may have to find it and pull it up. Now, Trump did actually say that there were a lot of folks out here that's doing a peaceful protest. There are a lot of decent African Americans, but he really blamed it on Antifa. So I know he was calling out Antifa was the main cause, and he also was wanting to make them a terrorist group, a national terrorist group. So I just wanted to, to throw that out there. I seen a post that he did say that. So he didn't, when he found out it was a lot of white people, he said there was a lot of people out of town. That's what he's out of town for different cities, and he blamed it. Said it was
David,
Antifa.
let me answer this question.
Oh yes, sir.
It wasn't even a year ago. Trump wanted to start a war with China because he didn't like the way they was treating their people. You remember that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
He wanted to start a war with China because they would treat the people the way he wanted them to treat.
Okay.
But you turn back around and you're doing worse.
Are you talking about China or North Korea? China was
He
it?
ain't gonna mess with North Korea. I'm talking about China. He ain't gonna mess with North Korea.
Okay. I got the.
They got a guy over there.
Well, I want to interject on that, Dave. My interjection is this. What Reg is saying makes sense. Well, you have to change the narrative. And the reason why you have to change the narrative, when you're changing the narrative on any situation, especially when you're coming from that high, is to get that's to get your people to get on board. See,
right.
it wasn't a thing that all you guys in it, y'all know that we're not getting ready, and China making sure about that. We're not getting ready to step on their soil with no water. We stepped on what, the Vietnamese? We went over that, man.
Well, the United States good with taking the water to people.
Water to the, yeah.
They told Rocket Man don't shoot another Rocket. How many of these shots since then? You know what I'm saying? They wants to be the governor of the world.
Yeah, police. They want to police the whole world.
They can't take care of home.
Yeah. Right.
You got to take care of home first.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, people are laughing at the United States because we got a president in there that really stole his way into the White House. But Republicans see that he does wrong, but they sit back because they're afraid to get fired, they're afraid to lose money, and I don't understand it. I really don't understand. I was always taught as a little boy, if you see wrong, and you know it's wrong, and you do nothing about it, then you're part of the solution. It's nowhere in the world, Trump, okay, he locked everybody up. Locked everybody up. You couldn't go outside. The corona, you couldn't go outside. When the economy started falling, he ran them all outside. You see what I'm saying? Now, he put them all, like you said, look at it. It's the Black Lives Matter, killing. That's to put more people out there. You know, people ain't even wearing masks no more. But the virus is still here. You see, now you had a hurricane coming that went past by through Louisiana. You got the flu coming. And when you ask me about God, hey man, God could send a storm through here right now. Right now, it could be pretty outside and send a storm through and wipe everything away.
Okay.
What other man can do that, or what other spirit can do that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I believe the Creator can do whatever the Creator does. What we believe the Creator is, and also this question I want to go to on the politics of this. Now I'm getting a notice where every time that they have a protest or a rally, the big thing is go and vote on a national level. Now my question is, what voting is going to do with the police brutality? Because the reason why I asked that question, even Sean King made this statement on his Facebook and Twitter and all the social media, that what's voting going to do with this when you have like Minneapolis, Minnesota, the city and the state is ran by Democrats. And what is voting actually going to change this? Well, I'm assuming they're saying voting for Trump and vote for Biden, when Biden is the actual author of the Biden bill, the 1994 crime bill. Him and Bill Clinton, had a major part in this, and that was a major talking point for him a while back. So I'm saying that because a lot of people are saying this is just nothing but a political ploy by like Democrats, NAACP for an election, but the voting here, what are we going to vote from? We're going to vote from Trump and go to Biden, where some people say we may be in a worse position. And when it was under Obama in 2015, we had a high number of killings by police that was actually more than the highest point during Jim Crow. Okay. So I know I kind of ramble along on that, but the direct question is, what does voting have to do with stop getting black folk being killed by the police?
Okay, let me address that first part, the voting part. You got to remember, somebody died, so you could even have the privilege to vote, okay? That's number one thing. The second part, if you're not satisfied with what's going on, that's what you use a vote for, to remove it. All right? Now you talk about the better
City council.
The better of the evil. The better of the evil. Okay, we know what Trump doing. We already know what Trump doing. We heard what Biden done. All right?
Mm-hmm.
But as an African American, he did serve with Obama. So Obama had to have some feeling. This snake that they got in the office right now don't give a care about you. You know what he told them? That he'd have done more for you than Jesus had done. Anytime you put yourself in a situation like that, you're a damn fool. And I'm not going to sit back here and go for Trump. Guess what? I'm going to vote for Biden. So you know why I'm going to vote for Biden? Because I refuse to vote for a fool. He got this country racially divided. And even though Biden might have did some things you're not pleased with, you can't actually sit here as an African American and tell me that you'll vote for Trump. Something wrong with you.
Well, let me show you. Let me show you, Reg. Excuse me. Let me show you something. That was very religious. I like that. But anyway, let me get away from that point. But anyway, because they're gonna say I'm secular. But what I'm saying is this: when we talking about doing for others and stuff in the country, and doing for us in the country, this is my synopsis. Now, it might be somebody else's. Somebody else might see it a different way. I don't really think that we have a choice to even say that one side done more for us than the other, because both sides done more for themselves.
Yeah, neither one. But you know what? You say the piggyback right there. You know what? You said that, and I like that because this reason is, if you don't vote, you're happy what's going on. If you do vote, are you voting for the right or the wrong? Mm-hmm. The whole scenario is look what's happening today. Look what's happening today. Biden is not the president today. We got a president that doesn't understand how to mix and relate with the people. No. That's what the problem is with that. He doesn't relate. If it ain't his way, it's no way. We can't live as a democracy, David, like that, because that's the reason why it's going to take us back many years. We going forward.
Okay, let me go ahead and try to rephrase the question, because I didn't really get an answer to my exact question. Now, pardon everything else being exempt, pardon the emotions, all the other reasons why you like Biden versus Trump. But this specific question is, and I'm asking because the protests, a lot of those have where you can go register to vote. And you have a lot of people out there saying, hey, to change this, we need to go vote. To change this beating, we need to go vote. To change what's going on, we need to go vote. What particularly about voting can change this police brutality? Just like I stated, when Biden was under Obama, we still had white officers killing black folks. And also Biden authored the crime bill, which had a lot of folks, black folks locked in jail. Regardless about anything else, why you like Biden, specifically, what does the voting can change about police brutality? That's just that specific issue.
Stick strictly today.
Yes, sir.
On the voting. This is how it changes. Wherever you got in office, and I understand you talk about the police brutality. Every last one of them officers got a boss. All right? They got a chief, okay? That chief worked for the city manager. The city manager works for the council. The council works for the citizens. You have a right to vote to change. That's what that vote would do. That vote would change police brutality. That vote would change a whole lot of things, because it starts from the top down. If you don't do nothing with that, even though Obama was the president, he could have did a lot of things, and I agree with you. He did. But I'm talking about just in a small town.
Well, no, I'm talking specifically voting on a different president, because a lot of the protests is talking about voting nationally, getting Trump out of office. That's basically where it's finished. So I want to see what is the vote.
It's all the same. Whether it's a small little or this, voting gives you an opportunity to voice your opinion.
Nah.
That's what voting does.
Okay,
it gives you an opportunity. A lot of people say, well, they don't hear it anyway, but it gives you an opportunity. And that's why, just say like Trump, he running scared now, because in the media, they got it where he's losing so much, he probably ain't even losing. You see what I'm saying? Because the media do that. But voting will stop police brutality. But guess what? You're going to put people in, they're going to run their tail off. You understand me? They're going to fire. I seen a chief quit when that boy shot that boy.
Atlanta.
Yeah, she quit.
Erica something.
She quit because you know what? Everything was coming back on her because that's your officers.
Oh yeah, she was probably forced to resign.
That's like Tim Duraso. He's our chief. He allowed some stuff to go on there. They coming to Tim. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, we went to Tim.
Now go ahead. Now let me go ahead and jump on this issue. Now I'm gonna jump off that one. Now I want to go ahead and jump on this issue right with the local police department. Now we have police chief Mr. Tim Duraso, right? He says he shows disdain for what happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now how truthful is that? Now how can we expect some real change from this chief if nobody actually addressed anything with the Shane's Line situation? Now I'm not saying that if to go ahead and disagree with the shooting or not, if you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
The only point I'm putting out is that there are other things that could have been done before the man was straight shot by the officer. That's the only point that I'm getting at. Okay. How can we believe the chief? Right. How can we believe the chief on this issue if the chief never really said anything about the Shane Line shooting, and if there were some other things that could have been done besides pulling out the gun and shooting? Go ahead on that.
Okay. Let me address that because the chief, I, and the NAACP, and you worked on that. Right. The chief had became the chief, I think, about a month, some weeks, when the accident happened. Chief had to get his feet wet, but I tell you what, I compliment him from being there, for going to the family, and using all of his power to get things done.
Expound on that part. You know where I'm going with it. Okay. Just expound on that part.
Okay, that part.
And because that was what I was getting ready to come to you. Expound on that part. Going to the family. Expound on that.
That part with Shane was a sad situation. Either way it go.
Right.
Even when the video was shown, if that's your brother, you gonna still believe everything that they was wrong. If that's the cops, they gonna believe that everything was wrong. It was a whole lot of things that could have happened. The boy didn't have to get killed. Right. Because if you, like I told him, see, one thing about me, I could chew my cabbage twice. If you was that in fear of your life, how you let it walk right up on you? Most people scared with at least 10 feet. You see what I'm saying? It could have been a ride. But I compliment Marlo and his mother, them. They wanted it to be peaceful. I'm a dad. I'm not a mother. A mother gonna grieve harder than a dad. Right. But I'm gonna still have pain. You understand me? Yes. It was senseless. And the only thing about that I didn't agree with the chief and the rest of it, because it was taken out the chief's hand. Right. It was given to the DA. The DA walked right in there and said he couldn't answer questions and that, but the guy had a laced cigarette. Why would you throw that in there? That's titting the jug, ain't it right? And that's what I brought up. You know I did. Hey, exactly. And that's great. I was going to bring that up also. What good is it to have a black police chief or anything when if something really happens? How can we believe him when we can't say that, hey, the DA's gonna come in and state and come in, take over and override what he's saying? What he doing? Right. Now that's something like I went to you earlier when I told you some of the changes that an advisory board would like to bring to the chief and the council. That's going to help generate a little bit more of that. But I know he was just fresh to the thing. Right. And be honest with you, I worked alongside him. Right. He did an outing in jail. I want him, but this is why I'm prepping this, because I had to prep this. I'm saying, speak on the fact that now Friday, this is what happened Friday on the Real Talk Friday. I brought up. Now he know what I did. I brought up the subject that the video was shown. I brought up the show and the dude, and I asked Wednesday. I told you guys who was supposed to be on the program. I asked the dude from the NAACP to come on the program.
I talked to one of the guys that's on the leadership committee,
Right.
and he told me, I talked to you about it, and I want you to expound on it right now, because this is what I talked Friday, guys, on the Real Talk Files. That's what I talked about Friday today, and I want him. Look, it's coming from his mouth, not mine.
Right.
The dude told me this. This is what the dude told me. Listen to me, because you're gonna expound on it. The dude told me that the family said this here, that they didn't want it, and the mama said that boy was wrong. Finish, man.
Okay. I don't know what that, ain't gonna call no name, that NAACP member was, but I know Reverend Gardner.
Tell him the three. Tell him
I know Chief Juriso, and I know Reginald Trainer.
That's the three.
Was all
listen to
three
what
there.
he's saying.
He was nowhere there.
Right.
So he's a liar. And I can't believe in my heart that a mother
That's what I said.
that have bred a child
That's what I said Friday.
will say that he deserved to die.
No,
It's
can't
no
say
way in
that.
the world
Right.
like
I
that,
can't
dude.
see that.
No way.
And also, I want to
I
interject.
can't see that one, man.
And also, I want to interject on that video, during the time that not the camera footage, but if you see, it's another video angle from the car, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the video angle from the police car, it shows that there was a person in front of Shane Lyons. There was a person also behind Shane Lyons. So it's kind of strange to think that the person that was the most armed and the most trained, had the most weapons on them, was in fear for their lives, when the person in front or behind them didn't fear. And then after he was shot, which you don't see on the recording that's out now, you have a lady that says, you didn't have to kill him, you didn't have to do that to him. So I just wanted to throw that out there and put that in perspective. Even though you have this little tight camera angle, it doesn't really show everything. It doesn't show what the actual car recording shows. It shows a little bit more.
Well, Dave, the reason why I wanted to ask Reg that, because I knew, now he told me this, there was 3 people, and the other person wasn't there. How could that other person tell me, and y'all know what do I say all the time? That came from his mouth, not mine.
Right.
Don't I always say that? So if something comes from somebody's mouth, they said that.
Right.
Well, Miss Marlowe didn't suffer enough. I'm not going to sit here and let nobody lie on her.
Right, absolutely.
That's an absolute lie.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's an absolute lie. Yeah. Now, I know us three work diligently to keep. Had we to just step back, what would it have, David? It would have been a war. All I want.
Right.
But a mother,
Ain't gonna say that.
a mother, not even a brother.
Ain't gonna
Right.
say
Gonna say my brother or my son deserve to die.
Yeah.
No. I couldn't let Lynn go walk with that, and I had to tell you.
And I didn't do that one because I knew that didn't sound right, guys.
No.
Now,
That just don't sound right for a mother. I can't see no mother. Look, I'm a father, and then one of them girls go out like that. I ain't, man. I'm getting
right.
And that's why I
better
told
be lucky that I don't start being like the vigilante.
When Sam Vaughn interviewed me, and he said, "Well, Mr. Trainer, you seen the video? What you think about it?" I said, "First of all, we all got an opinion. I'm not gonna throw myself and say I think the Lord did that, I did that, until I can get the narrow to make sure that I'm in the right.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? Because just like he said, he's seen another angle.
yeah.
I didn't even see that angle. You see what I'm talking about? So if you walk in there and you might see a different angle, you get a different opinion. I get a different opinion. But the whole thing about it, like I told you, they've lost their life.
That's what I'm saying.
Something that you can't. The police could go back to work.
Right.
That boy can't go
nowhere.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Hey,
And see,
mother.
I didn't want them to think that I was being biased because I'm the chairman of it. You remember, and I know we got to go. You remember
7 minutes.
Chief Patrick Melvin?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Let's talk about that neck. One of his officers said what they need to do is put the foot on the neck and cut his head off. And I had a problem. I was all on TV.
I remember that. I
had a problem with that.
I remember that.
What job you could go to and threaten your boss and still have a job? You know what the union said? The union. You know what they said? Oh, that was just water cooler talk.
Yeah, I remember that.
Shined it on. And you know what? I got people, and they really go there. But people told me, "Oh man, what you fighting that battle for? He the chief, he could do it." I'm fighting that battle because you used that in a racist slur, and it was, guess what? It was African History Month.
Right.
And I'm a black man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you supposed to be patrolling and protecting my streets. I got a grandson. I'm scared to death what you gonna if you do it to your boss.
That's true.
Right.
You'll do it to somebody else.
Right. Absolutely. And
And
that
it
kind of
wasn't fighting for Melvin, it was fighting for right. Because I fight for the citizens and I fight for the police. If they're right.
5 minutes, y'all.
now. And I actually wanted to jump into one of the last questions I'm gonna probably ask on here is that to keep everything fair and balanced and whatnot. What do you think? And you also kind of jumped into it from it too with Patrick Melvin. Now I've talked to several officers on there when Patrick Melvin was on there. Now, what do you think about the warfare they had against Port Arthur police officers? Now, during the whole purge they had, it was Patrick Melvin and Brian McDougal. They was firing officers left and right like crazy. Now, I was telling you had a lot of black folks, yeah, man, get rid of dirty officers, but hold on. This is one of the few times you ever seen a police chief come from out of town, from wherever he or she is safe at, come to this town to actually try to clean up. Now somebody has to give him that order. Now black folk didn't give that order. Black folk wasn't protesting, but hey, you police chief, you need to clean it up. So the order had to come from somewhere. So now I was trying to get black folks to understand, don't be too happy with all this firing because it has a political motive. Now, I'm just going to say that, I'm not going to say, I'm going to address the issue, but I'm not going to say where I got it from. Now, you can go and find some court documents that's been sent out. The police department had a beef with the DA, with Bob Wordham's office. So they had a lot of the issues going on over there. Now, I'm saying that to say that is, right, once you start firing a whole bunch of officers that's been in the community, white, black, or whatever, now this guy was a victim of one of those new officers. Aaron Taylor, at the time of the shooting, was only here for 2 years. So I just want you to talk about, what you believe that the purging of all these senior officers that know the neighborhood, that know the people, that's going to probably try to do some alternative things before they have to use deadly force. What do you think about the depletion of the experienced personnel? Did that have to do anything with the shooting of Shane Lyons? Because I believe it did. Because I believe if you had a lot of those officers back on here, it wouldn't have had enough room to bring Shane Lyons in. Aaron Taylor, I'm sorry. Yeah. Forgive me. Aaron Taylor, the guy the cop that shot Shane Lyons. Aaron Taylor, that's his name. I believe that wouldn't have brought him, it would have been a less likely chance of bringing him into the police department, where it would have highly reduced that situation, because at that time he was a 2-year officer.
Let me address the first part of it with the McDougals and
Melvin.
Okay. McDougals was city manager at the time. They want to wing out some things in the Port Arthur Police Department, just like you said, Dave. So they had to put them over there. They hired Patrick Melvin. They used Patrick Melvin to do the dirty work that Parker and the rest of them wanted them to do. Once he did that, they had no idea that the Parker and the McDougals was going to get terminated. You see what I'm saying? They left him there vulnerable.
Right, absolutely.
He didn't went in there and did their dirty work. Now he got to cross that fence. They wouldn't allow that.
Right,
they wouldn't allow that because he let so many people go, and then Patrick, I fought for it. But you came in for the wrong reason with the wrong intention.
There you
How
go.
you come from Arizona here and 5 people you don't even know? You see what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
So it makes sense of what they did. Now, the officer that's getting with Shane, I'm trying to clear it up because we don't have a minute. That's getting with Shane shouldn't even been out there.
Absolutely.
He shouldn't have been out there. But by the lack, like David said, of the management getting rid of people, you know what I'm talking about? Because the story didn't match up. He go on one way and turn around and go some other way because say the people wrong. He wasn't even on that route. See where I'm going? He wasn't even on that route. He wasn't even on that route.
That's where you going.
So
this where you going.
They had bad management in there. So yes, David, I know they could put this and they could do that. And I didn't want to leave because we talked about the same thing, but I wanted to get to the point of how he got to the scene.
Right.
David say 2 years.
Okay, hey guys, we got 4 minutes. But I want to ask this. Well, have structure, since you own the commission, this is pointed to you, this is a pointed question. Has structure changed?
Yes. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And you know why I know it's changed? But I told you earlier when we talked, I do shift changes. You know what I'm saying? I do ride-alongs. I make them comfortable while we can talk. Junior's been there that I got a dialogue with the officers. You know what I'm talking about? Because at one time, oh, here come Trainer, he looking for something. You see what I'm talking about? Now, I've got them out now where they are, I ain't gonna say I haven't just out board. They'll communicate more with the citizens. You see what I'm saying? You remember back in the day, we didn't have 2 black officers, Scott O'Brien and Clayton, but we knew our officers. That's what they got to do. And these little young guys coming in, they got to be trained by somebody that's good to train them.
Okay, let me think. How much you got? We got 4. You know, you time.
Well, it already came though. If you want to continue the thing, so. You know.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, check this out, guys. Now, I'm with. I'm agree with him, but this is what I disagree about.
Okay.
And you correct me because this is your segment. So, what I disagree about is this: is that I went to Walmart the other day, and one of the police put all the police. Remember what I'm just saying? Remember that? Put all the police. I went asked this man a question. Simple question.
Okay.
Before I come up, you know how you in the parking lot. I'm coming up to him to ask him a question. He tee and hi with somebody of the lighter persuasion. As soon as I got to him, he frowned his face. I don't know what you're talking about.
So you saying
that he know what I'm saying? This is a part of community policing. He knew what I was talking about, and if he didn't know, it was a pleasant way to tell me.
And you know what?
Yeah,
And he did not do it pleasant.
You know what?
That's all.
If your feelings was offended, he has a badge number. You understand me? He has a badge number. You are his boss. You are the citizen. You feel as though you was disrespected, you get his name and his badge number. You don't even have to call the chief. You got my number, and I can guarantee it's going to be handled. And that's for anybody out there that has a problem, get up with me. I ain't trying to run nothing, but I can get the job done. Because he has to be polite at all times. If he talk to the white girl like that, white man, he got to talk to him the same way.
Right,
That's what I'm saying.
Same
Yeah,
way.
That's what I'm saying.
like he didn't know you, huh?
Yeah, he talked to me like I had.
Crap on your face, huh?
Yeah,
You say, well, sir, you're a community servant. What's the problem? You can't talk to me? I tell you what,
that
you get
irritated
your
me.
badge number and your name. And walk away. Now, if you want to get swole about it, then you might have to throw the face with him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's
Like
what you
I
got
did.
to do. That's what you got to do. You can't let them get away with that because that's the training. We got to stop them when we get started.
You should. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm telling you. See, I felt some kind of way about that. That's why I'm bringing it up on the program.
Yeah.
It's because.
But you probably ain't the only one.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
ain't the only one that feel like that.
See.
You know?
I really felt some kind of way about that because you tee and hard with somebody else, but when I get up, you got a frown on your face. That when I'm asking you well,
I've seen one of
You
them.
know what I'm thinking in my
Yeah, I've seen one of them over on Austin and 7th Street, been sitting over there. Well, I rode over there to see what was going on. He didn't recognize me, and that's what he'd be. I say, officer, you all right? Something going on here? What's it to you?
See?
I said, excuse me? He said, what is it to you? I bet when Fredis, the deputy chief, talked about it, oh man, it doesn't matter whether you notice me or not.
Yeah.
You're rude.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we can't bridge the gap, because you being rude to people. Our job is to bridge the gap between the citizens and the policemen. In other words, to make you feel comfortable, whether you talk to them or talk to you not. I don't care what kind of morning he had.
Right.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
still needs to be polite.
Now,
Yeah.
now, right
What is
after,
it to me? Evidently, it's something to me because I'm seeing you over here. I'm coming to find out if you're all right.
now, I'm glad you brought that up because that's what we need to start doing. We need to start questioning these police officers because they have some kind of superiority complex a lot of times. They're feeling like, what in the hell I'm doing questioning
Who
them,
the hell is you?
especially a black citizen.
Right.
Especially a black citizen, they're looking at you like, what is it to you? So normally what I do, I normally go ahead and catch them, take a little picture of them and throw them on the internet or whatnot. Now, they'll get their attention for a minute.
Like
Then
the
they'll
one
start.
sleeping
Yeah, one sleeping over there on the west side. Yeah, so you know they say the west side all dangerous, but not for that cop. He have a good. He can take good naps over there.
Yeah.
He can take good naps on the west side.
Yeah.
But you know it's so dangerous over there. You know what I'm saying? So
that seafaring place going all the way out Houston Avenue, and they got you know what seafaring is.
Yeah.
Okay, well they back up and just sit there.
Man,
And I timed it for a reason. I rode all the way there. Y'all know this is gonna take a minute, guys.
Yeah.
I rode from well, you know, you get on the seawall. You know what I mean? I'm 200 block 8. And you know, it take me a little while because I'm going down Houston Avenue sometimes to get to 4th Street. Go straight up. You know how I do it. That's how I do it, y'all. Because that's a little time. But I'm going down Houston Avenue. This same car was at the seafaring back then. So that might have been his spot. So don't get me wrong. You can tell me whether or not that was a spot or not. Well, he's sitting there. When I came back, the car was in the same position.
Hell no.
You feel me, Dave?
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. You have a lot of these cops that'll duck off in these spots.
Why do y'all know they for surveillance? You can surveillance them.
Well, you don't have the surveillance from way back there.
Wait, but y'all know
Hey,
what seafaring
hey,
is.
they be
I
by,
just wanted to throw that.
hey, on Guffway, they be by that GMB building, that old warehouse back. They be way back there, like.
But those are some things I might need to talk with the chief about.
Well, you know, they be ducked off over there, 365.
Well, if we got anybody watching the program, y'all.
You guys could come to those meetings. It's for the public.
Okay, so we can go to the meetings, right? It's
Right,
for
I can
okay.
give you the time to
Say
do.
that, Dave,
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
public.
okay.
Say that to them.
Yeah, what are the times in the day of those meetings?
We have our chief advisory board meetings, but right now through the
Coronavirus, right?
not happening. But we usually have it the third Monday at 3:00 at the West Side Community Center.
Okay, so it's the third Monday of every month.
Of
The
every
third
month at
Monday,
3:00.
3:00 at the West Side Community Building.
West Side
Okay,
Community.
okay,
And
good.
that's located where?
That's located on it's located on
Off 7th Street.
Ransom
and
Grant.
Grants.
Okay, right, yeah,
Right,
Ransom
okay,
and Grand.
Ransom and Grants.
Say that
And
again. Say that again. Was it where we read? Where it's located?
It's located on Ransom and Grannis, and the name of it is the West Side Community Center.
And that's the third Monday of every month.
Of every month at 3:00.
Chief Advisory Board.
Chief Advisory Board meeting. Now, you know, we've spaced out now, so what you can do, you can take this number down, which is area code 409-549-1300, which is my number, and I can give you better feedback on when we're going to start getting the public back involved.
Say that again. The number.
The number is area code 409-549-1300.
Thank you.
My name is Reginald
And
Trainer.
at the end of the program, he's going. In our ending remarks, he's going to give you that number again. If anybody missed that number, we're gonna because see y'all miss it when I be giving away a cap.
Or they can just put the playback on here and get it like that. Would you want to?
Oh, it's gonna be in the story. Yeah, anyway.
Would you want to close out for the closing statements?
I'm gonna close it out.
Reggie Trainer, you want to go ahead and close it out first?
Yeah.
If you got anything else to say, brother?
No, I just want to thank you for allowing me to come on your real talk.
Yes,
Real
sir.
talk. I really enjoyed our conversation today. I think we made a lot of lead.
Can we count on you to come back to the visitors?
You can count on me whenever you call me. You
So
can
we
count on
wanna
me.
know.
I'm not the type to tell you I'm busy.
And he did
Right.
that. He made a place on his calendar for us. So you have to believe him. He did that.
So, but like I say, Dave and Lynn and those out there in Radio Land or TV Land, whatever.
TV.
This is definitely a good program, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to be one of the sponsors of it.
Yeah.
And this is real talk.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. We real about. Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. And I want to thank everybody. I really want to thank everybody that John Reg today. He had a great show. I mean, he had a truly great show, and I'm really thanking him for it because I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. He said, "I'm gonna get you," and he said that when he seen me Saturday, he pushed back whatever he had to do to tell today. He said he'll do it today. I appreciate him for that. And I hope my audience got some nice information, and the information they got, I'm hoping that the information that they did get, that they can use it, because I know you can use the fact that you can come to him and let him go as a liaison to between us and the police department, which that's what he was anyway, guys. We just didn't know that. Now through the Real Talk Files, we know that that's what he does. He's a liaison for that. And I want to thank Dave. Dave has been my man. He's been my help and stuff like that. You know, man. And, you know, he's a good sponsor. Like Reg told you, Reginald, he been sponsored. So you know that it's ain't nothing that he just started, guys. But and he's helping. He's very much helping. Dr. Roslyn, I appreciate you. Eddie Ray, I appreciate you. Glenda, appreciate you. Dave, appreciate you. You know, I just appreciate all you guys that really all you guys that always saying something that's important. That every time I turn around, y'all always appreciating the things that we do. But the Real Talk Files is always going to do that. We have somebody that we said but I'll let you know through Facebook if they're going to be, because some people tell me they're going to be in and they'll never be on. So we're going to see what they say this time. Dave is there. I don't know if he's going to be off this week, but he had Fridays. I don't know if he's gonna do it this Friday, but it's all about his work schedule. He had last Friday, he didn't, but he's gonna let me know. Are you gonna let me know, Dave?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, but I'm gonna leave the ending remarks. That's Dave y'all talking to.
Oh yeah, want to go ahead and say appreciate y'all for coming out, and once again it's the Real Talk Files, and everybody keep on until the next time we get back at you. Peace.
Thank you.